I'm Justin Davis, and this is Joe Camp's RC. Well, hello BQE Pixel. I want to introduce you to my new friend here. This is my new friend, the BQE Pixel, from a really awesome designer over at BQE Multirotors. Mr. Bill sent me this, and this has turned out to be a really smooth flying quad. And right away, like, just look at the design of this quad. This is super cool. I had sort of a concept of last year sometime for a square quad like this, but I would have never dreamed it would look something like this. This design is really cool. It's also really durable. Now, if you look at it from the center, see how thick he has the carbon here in the center of the frame, and he tapers it out quite thin out to the edges here. This frame was actually designed to be able to fly and land and hit concrete, because if you look at the name of this quad, it's made by a company called BQE, and if you know anything about New York and Brooklyn and Queens, you know the BQE is the Brooklyn Queens Expressway, and that's what this was named after. His company's named after the BQE highway. Pretty cool. So those guys up there, they fly around a lot of concrete, and when you're flying in urban areas, you're bound you know, just to hit some type of concrete somewhere. It's kind of like skateboarding with these things. So they take a lot of abuse, kind of like a skateboard does, really, honestly. But let's give this an honest review. Can we just go ahead and be real for a minute with this quad? The quality of this is cha-ching. Bill, you did a great job on that. I got to give you props on this quad. This is one of the top quality frames that I've had this year on some of my other quads. Now, I've got some other ones sitting over here. This was the Awesome 95, thinner carbon fiber, a much better grade over here, out of China, domestic. So Bill has a better frame than the Awesome Q95. Now, the ARFUN, also a very popular one. I took the components off of one of these and actually transferred it over to this, and it made a super awesome flying quad. Mainly because I have a really big power system on here too, up to 20 amp ESCs on here. So I can fly this on 3S and it rips. And we have the popular Baby Hawk sitting over here as well. Similar size, but this is actually a 110 frame, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Bill, but it is, I believe it is a 110. Now I also have OSD on here, and it flew. Like, I got to get right into the flying aspects of this. I have Betaflight on here, obviously, and it didn't take a lot of tuning, which was great. Everything was really smooth right from my transfer over of these parts. It was really easy to transfer it. So this frame on Bill's website, it's actually $27. So if you wanted to transfer your ARFUN over to one of these, take this and make it look like this. Stop what you're doing, stop this video, take this stuff off and put it on one of Bill's frames. Now this one has an underslung camera like this, and I'm not a huge fan of that because we had some issues with that original ARFUN 90 hitting the side of the camera. Now what Bill's design does is actually raises it up on this stack right here. And why is that cool? Well, he has this TPU mount right here, and he has a special spot for the buzzer back here, and it's this little 9mm size buzzer. It's one of the smaller size ones, and it fits perfectly behind the camera. Other quads that I've built, sometimes like with the Baby Hawk, for example, I showed you guys how to add a buzzer on that one, and I usually just hot glue it to the back. Kind of ghetto, but it works. So he also used M3 hardware on this one. So you have full-size hardware, something like you'd have on a 250, 200 size mini quad. So it's kind of cool that he has that. He has this also cool anodized aluminum, these blue standoffs, and you might have noticed there's not one in the back. Can I give you one con of this frame real quick? One con is maybe the way I mounted this. Maybe I should have put it on a 90-degree axis so that my USB port was over in the back right here. I should probably just do that real quickly, but you're gonna have to take the stand off if you have your USB on this side or on this side. So keep that in mind when you're building yours. If you put yours together, just rotate it on a 90 and then fix it in Betaflight so you don't have any problems getting to it. And I am running on a standard JST right now, which I'm going to switch it over so I can try out some 3S with this, because it's going to be super awesome with an XT30 and 3S. It's going to absolutely rip. But I was flying it for about a week and a half, and look at my frame. It still looks really good. It doesn't have a bunch of dents on it. It's not cracked or broken. This bottom plate right here, by the way, guys, is a unibody. It's all one piece. So sometimes people see these exterior thin frames like on the ULX and they think, oh, well, that's going to break in a second. That looks like glass. Actually, no, it held up really, really well. And it's actually not bad on the weight. Let's go ahead and weigh it. We'll show you what kind of weight we got on it. Got 61 grams there, and one of my favorite eSheen batteries. Excuse me, not eSheen. This is Emax 300 milliamp 2S. I'll go ahead and stick that one on there. So total takeoff weight of 77 grams. Not bad. Not bad at all. So what does that do for this quad? With these motors and this power system on here, these are the DYS 1104 7500 kVs. With one of these, it's going to get a great power to weight ratio. It's it feels really light when I'm flying it, really lightweight in the air, and I like that a lot for big open field freestyle. And in combination with these gym fans, I believe they were the 2035s, my favorite prop right now. It just makes everything all that much more smooth. So very good motor and power combination for this frame. Now, if you haven't heard of BQE Multirotors, please do hop over to their website and check out some of their other frames. And you know, this is not a promotion for Bill from me to you. This is actually my advice to you to go check out his site, because he also has a BQE 210, which is a nice 5-inch size frame. If you'd like to check that out, he also has an SX4, and that's the 4-inch version of his frame for a little larger racer. And then he has this one, which is the Pixel. And today, actually, the day I'm making this video for this review, he released the Mini Pixel. So there's a smaller version of this one. Maybe it's a 90mm. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't see it right there on his website. But I'm sure maybe he'll post a link and let you guys check that one out too. But I was very happy with this frame. I think it's professionally designed, professionally built. The materials that he sourced for this carbon, it's some sort of carbon. I've never even seen this word before. It's on his website. Let me see if I can find it for you guys. Oh yeah, there it is. It's called quasi-isotopic carbon fiber. Did you get that? Quasi-isotopic carbon fiber. Bill, I don't even know what that is, but it sounds really cool, and you guys can look at it really close here. I'll show you just a little close-up of his design. You can see how this back standoff is blank here. Now, okay, let's talk about a con of this, because this wouldn't be a review without a con. So here we go. When I first put this together and first flew it for my first battery, I got it out, I was all excited because I knew it was going to fly good. As soon as I took off, there was a lot of jello in the camera. I was like, wait a minute, what the hell? What's going on here? Why is it doing that? Everything is on there, right? I Loctited the motors and everything. Everything is solid. And then I got it back and I just looked at it a little closer, and where this TPU mount is, this little mount right here, let me bring it in a little closer so you can see the stack. Right here. See this brown fuzzy stuff in here? That's cardboard. And I folded it up in between the receiver and the bottom of this TPU. And the reason I did that was because this little camera mount was kind of doing a little bit of dancing while I was flying. And that may have been because I didn't have the camera secured enough, but even still, after going back and then putting more hot glue on this camera, I had to put this little piece of cardboard in here to just absolutely stop any of that movement, because this part right here going to this front standoff, it's quite thin, and I believe it was letting it do a little bit of bounce there and dancing in the front there. So those micro vibrations coming off these power system always translates straight to the center of the quad. So think about that when you put your camera system on a quad. But in my fleet of mini quads, and I have a ton of micros, you guys have seen them right here on the channel. We did a top 5 best of a while back, and if I could go back and do that all over again for a July 2017 version, I would have to add the BQE Pixel in that top 5 and kick someone else out. And a lot of you guys kind of asked me why the ARFUN didn't make the top 5. Why didn't that one make the top 5? Can I go ahead and be honest? We're starting to do honest reviews, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you why. The props were hitting the camera on several flights that I had on the original 90mm, and I didn't like that. So, you know, one of the biggest things about making the top 5 is flying great right out of the gate. And this one had a minor flaw with this little TPU mount and this sort of springy, dancy thing in the front here. But once that was resolved, it is definitely one of my top favorite quads in my mini fleet right now. So you guys know I like the Baby Hawk, and a lot of people start out here. You could also transfer these electronics over on one of Bill's frames, and that would be absolutely epic. 1104s are probably going to be a good bet for this frame. So 1104s 2, 3S, if you want to try that HGLRC flight controller on here, that 25 amp one, you can go 4S on this bad boy. But make sure you have big enough motors to be able to handle that. 1104s might be pushing it on 4S. You could try those new Emax. I think they were the 1106s, just a little taller. But you might have some vibration and some tuning to do at that point. So we're approaching 3 and 4S. And right now, I'm satisfied with the way this one flies. So I'm going to keep this one exactly like this. I'm not going to do any more upgrades on it. I'm just going to fly it and enjoy it for sure. But I think it's a great quad. You guys should go check him out. His website is bqe.io, and you can grab one of his frames for like $26, $27. Not bad. Micros are pretty cheap to fly and maintain. That's why I like them a lot. Plus, you can fly them in smaller spaces, places like Brooklyn, for example. I'm going to go ahead and say thanks to Bill for sending me this frame, because I think it's really awesome. You guys should check them out. BQE Multirotors.